and we are the co-founders of Dipper.
Dipper is a technology platform that guides professionals of color to a better workplace, one review at a time.
Dipper is your safe space. It is the time for you to share your voice with a community that you are a part of. Visit us and join today at ourdipper.com.
Hi, Jacinta. How are you? Oh, you're on mute.
And I'm muted.
I feel the energy.
I'm good. It's Friday. It's a new day for us.
Yeah, it's definitely a new day for us. How are you feeling this Friday, though?
Good. I think it's like Fridays are interesting for me because it's kind of that time where I'm like getting all the, can I say shit? Getting all the shit together.
You can say that.
Get all the shit together. Like the week is over.
Yeah.
What happened? What didn't happen? Like just kind of getting it all together. But it's just, another day of the week. And then it's like, what am I going to do this weekend? So,
yeah, that part. And then you're a working mom. So like work does not stop, right?
You too.
I have to do things with Tori and.
I know. It's like, sometimes I feel bad because like I just have one.
Right.
I have one that can feed and clothe herself.
Yes, I'm waiting for that moment. I am waiting for that moment.
It's a game changer. It is a game changer. Like when these kids, the other day, my husband said that she wanted to charge the car herself because like it's just something she was like, I want to know how to do this. And I was like, yes.
Like,
this is great.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome seeing them grow for sure, which
absolutely
is amazing.
Let me tell you, when I got over the potty training hump, it's not that they still don't, like pee on themselves, but getting to that hump of them like knowing to sit on the toilet, run. When you get that urge, go sit down.
It's kind of like it's funny because when you start a new job, you're in that like first 90 days period, you're new. Those are your babies. Those are like your baby steps, right? So it's like coming into the maturity of your position and your career.
Yeah.
Like stepping out of that too. So
yeah, no, I hear that. It's funny. I was working on something for work. When am I not?
Yeah, right.
And I had to create a customer success strategy. And I had lined it to almost like potty training, right? It's like, okay, let's give the best experience possible, but let's make sure that they're fully equipped with all the resources, the tools that they're trained so that it's long-term sustained, right?
Right.
40 years old.
We are, I see folks are like coming in and joining us. Thank you so much. Today's topic, if there's something you really want us to hit on, feel free to put it in the chat. If we don't get to it today, we can cover it another week, but we really wanted to talk about a celebration. There's lots of things in the news. A lot of people lost their job this week in the news. Like it was crazy. I couldn't keep up.
All you have to say in the news, and I think everyone already.
It was every time I turned around, there was like a new article about somebody lost their job. It was,
my goodness,
it was pretty wild. And so within that, also, folks are getting new jobs. They're getting promoted. Things are happening where people are celebrating. And I think sometimes I think Netta, you brought up this topic because I am definitely one that likes to be behind the scenes. I don't really, but it's taking the time to be thoughtful about celebrating yourself and also celebrating others. Like, I think we each have tactics we utilize to help us like celebrate our team's wins and kind of keep us going. But folks are dealing with a lot. So sometimes a little celebration can go a long way, right?
Yeah. So you know what I was thinking? Let's put it into practice today.
Yeah.
I want to hear all about how you celebrated yourself and your birthday just passed. How did you celebrate yourself? What steps did you take?
Yeah, it's funny. I am not the good example because I probably was not very thoughtful, but I think April has been an interesting, like, not only is it my birth month, I'm on the cusp, I'm an Aries Taurus, but I also started a new job, which I started on April 3rd. And so it was just like a lot of like new things happening. But one thing that's really big in my household for celebration is like champagne. We love bubbly, and like it's kind of a tradition. And so just even if it's little, like just making sure you take some time to celebrate. But the other thing that I love to do, which actually directly correlates to the career choice that I made, is I love to eat out. Like I eat out like someone pays me to do it. Like it's my I love a restaurant, like all of that. So really just like celebrating with people, food, all the things, and then traveling. I went to New York. I was there for work, but I got in a lot of fun.
I hear that.
I got in a little shopping, you know, but I think it's just taking some time. It was weird for me because I felt, although my birthday was one day, people made it like the whole month.
That's amazing.
I joked about that, but I've never really practiced that. But this month, I feel like I practiced it.
Well, listen, I'm coming to your neck of the woods on Monday, actually. So we're going to have to continue the celebration.
Continue the celebrations. Continue the celebrations. Yeah. And then today, you know, it's pretty awesome. I'm managing a new team, and they are crushing it. And so really just taking some time, even in my last role, Friday was my day where I took the time to reflect on like each person on my team and figure out ways that I wanted to like celebrate or shout them out. So I think that's also for me, I schedule a lot of things. A lot of things need to be scheduled. So it was helpful for me to like put time on the calendar to actually like celebrate other people too.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think as human beings, we should be celebrating every aspect of our lives, even those moments where we feel like, oh my goodness, I may have lost an opportunity or lost my job, or perhaps maybe I'm laid off. In those opportunities, it's so good for people to just sit, reflect, and say, okay, was that a great experience for me? If so, okay, let me deal with it that way. But if it wasn't, well, maybe that's a blessing.
Yeah.
Right. Here's a time for me to like really readjust, reassess, and think about, okay, what's my next pathway? And so I typically tell people that, and it's okay to celebrate.
I know.
It's so
hard. It is
good at coming so hard on ourselves, coming down hard on ourselves, and not giving each other the grace. And so then you feel like you're just stuck, right? So I typically tell people, no, celebrate yourself. For me, you know, the biggest thing right now is I have released a book that is coming out called The Inclusive Organization, and it's coming out on June 14th. And I'm in a moment of celebration, and I know I'm having a book release event, which should be incredible, but I'm really just taking it all in because I remember when I had said to myself, I want to write a book.
Yeah.
I also remember when I got on a flight for work, and typically I just fall asleep on the flight, but I sat down the entire flight and I wrote summaries, chapter titles. Like I was just so empowered to do that because I believed that one day, someday, a book publishing company, a big one, would reach out to me, right? My mind, I just thought that would happen. So why not prepare for it?
Why not? Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did, Jacinta. I had prepared for it, and within the matter of 2 weeks, I received an email from Wiley, one of the biggest publishing companies in the world, asking me if I would want to write a book.
Yeah.
And I was just like, whoa, the power of preparing for what you want is so important. I think like we don't have that conversation often enough, you know, of preparing for it, even if it's not happening.
Yeah.
You believe it. And so I'm really in the midst of like celebrating that.
Well, you know, one thing you do, I'm seeing some comments about job loss, and I want to tie that into something I have learned from Miss Netta Jenkins. You have a tendency to celebrate before the win. Like Netta, if you know Netta, she pre-celebrates. Like, so she is celebrating, like she celebrated a book deal before she had a book deal. You celebrated having a book. You even mentioned it to other people. Like you had your core people. I feel like I have the honor of being in the core. Yep. You had your like core people you reached out to and you celebrated this book deal. I think sometimes when like talking about job loss, very hard. It's a very challenging thing. A lot of times we pour almost all we have into jobs, which you know, it's something that, of course, we know we shouldn't do, but it's hard not to do it sometimes, right? And that's the reality of the situation. And so, but I think taking that time, you can mourn the loss of a job. Like, that's perfectly fine. But then you can also allow yourself to celebrate the new job and finding people. I've come across folks where I could tell they were embarrassed to tell other people they were no longer employed. We got to stop doing that because like find your group. The more folks who know and who somebody put manifesting in the comments. Yes.
Right.
The more folks that can manifest that new job with you, the more likely it is for it to happen. Like I saw Oprah, like an interview with Oprah. I think I told Netta about this and she was basically saying she doesn't even make vision boards anymore because she's just embraced so much power in manifesting. And I'm like, possibly, but we're not all at the Oprah level, you know, but take some time to mourn. It is okay to be sad. It is okay to be upset and angry for sure too, right? But then also thinking about how do I communicate to other people, like what the thing I want to happen is. Like, and then the steps to do it. Like if you communicate to other people, I want to write a book, cool. Your conversations with other people could be what turns into your writing notes, right? Like that could be what's turning into the chapters. That could be what's turning into the topics. And it is very hard. Like this is not, I don't want to like say this lightly because it is very hard. Like I've gotten laid off and I cried in a Chipotle. Like over a burrito, you know, like, and this is very hard moment, but like also this too shall pass.
Yeah. And you're right about that, right? It's hard because oftentimes for people, it's aligned to their livelihood. It's, oh, I'm supporting my family. So if I lose my job, now what do I do?
Right.
And so it's always like, okay, well, I have someone that's depending on me. So that level of burden is what really drives people into that deep depression. But I think you gave so many great points. So thank you for sharing that, Jacinta. We really then have to kind of reassess the experience. You know, I remember I had a terrible experience at a job when I was earlier along in my career. And I had gotten laid off. And I was so sad, Jacinta, for like weeks and weeks. And then I had to snap out of it. And I was like, wait, hold on. I was not psychologically safe there. I did not have a great experience there. I was treated poorly there. Hold on, get it together, sister, right? And find a new opportunity that is going to value you, that's going to pay you properly, that's going to respect you. And so it was that mind shift that I had to like take immediately, or else I would have been stuck.
Right.
Feeling that space, you know, for a very long time.
Yeah. And it's that there's nothing that gives me anxiety more than like when I go into my project management board and I see in bright red stuck. And it's kind of like, it's the same thing with our lives. Like you don't want to stay like stuck too long. And sometimes that can be finding little things to celebrate. Even if it's celebrating other people. Like I have found sometimes, especially like possibly career-wise, I may have not felt like I was in the best spot or I couldn't celebrate, you know, professionally for myself. Sometimes taking the time to like step out of your box and celebrate others is a great way to almost, like someone said, manifest, like a way to open the door for it to happen to you. Like, because why not? If you're just like putting yourself around it, allowing yourself to be exposed to those opportunities, not just being like at home alone, but putting yourself in situations where new opportunities might be able to come about. So
yeah, I love that. I'm reading the chat here and I'm like choking at the same time.
No, please don't. Please don't.
Oh my goodness, what's happening?
Somebody give us some water.
Someone here posted, we have a weekly joy post.
I love that.
Where our team shares wins and happiness. So I'd love to hear from folks that are tuned in right now. One, how are you celebrating yourself?
Mm-hmm.
How do you celebrate those that may directly report to you or that are peers of yours? We'd love to see that in the comment. And then the next thing I'd love to hear is, how has that impacted you? What's the impact of celebrating yourself, right? Because I think oftentimes we don't measure the impact, right? What did I get out of that experience? What type of joy did that bring for me? And so, like you said, it was recently your birthday. Now, you may not have planned to fully celebrate, but there were people that were celebrating you, and it went throughout the week. And I'm coming on Monday, so we're going to continue that, right?
I will be there. Right.
So, but like, what was the impact of that? How did that make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I think one, it's really interesting because when you move away from a place, there is like, people always say, oh, I'm going to stay in touch. I want to see you. And, part of me, I'm like, yes, we will. But then you're like, will we really? And so I think it was pretty awesome to see folks really step outside of their like busyness and the things they have to do to say like, no, I'm going to take time for you. Even my own family, like, because I wasn't here, they were like, no, we're calling you first thing in the morning. Like, it's impactful. And I think it's validating, right? Because you're like, okay, these are good relationships. This is helpful. And it's almost like planting a seed. I mean, like watering a plant. Like, I'm an amateur plant lady. I know it looks like I'm expert level, but everything is like, my plants are on struggle.
You're fooling us with those plants behind you.
Yes, they are real, but the one behind me is like about to die any minute. But I think it's kind of like continuing to feed it when it needs to be fed. And I think one thing I learned about being a plant mom, you overwater. Yeah. I even bought a tool that helps me determine, like, is my plant dry? Do I need to water it? And so I feel like relationships are like that too. Like, you need to feed them at times. And it may not be like every single day, every single week. But I have a best friend who lives in Texas. It could be 2 years since I've seen her, and it doesn't matter. Like, it's like, so I think it's just celebrating in those moments and letting people take it in. Like, I have a tendency to stop people. Like, I was like, no, you can't pay for this, or no, you can't take me out. And I think I just have to like sit back.
Yeah. Like, it's okay. Carry me. Gosh, you provided such great points. And I love this conversation around celebrating yourself. Maya said something so striking, and I had it posted here for some time. She said, I'm celebrating myself by learning how to love myself inside and outside, and always believing in myself. That's so powerful, right? That is something that I continue to work on every single day. I'm sure you as well, Jacinta, right? Because when we've mastered that, then there's no one that can take advantage of you, right? Especially when you're within the workplace and there are various dynamics that exist. You're able to recognize when you need some support, when you need help, when you say no, and when you say, you know what, it's time for me to leave, or I want to stay, I want to progress here. Yeah. That's so incredibly important to work on ourselves. I love that you're doing that, Maya.
Awesome. And we have like taken up all the time already.
Can you believe it? I feel like it's always a breeze when we talk. It goes by so quickly.
Yeah. And we're in April, in the spring, we're talking a lot about renewal, new things, cleaning house, both for ourselves and within our careers. And so if there are any topics that you are that you want to have us discuss, any particular guest, you can reach out to us at hello@our O-U-R, Dipper, DIPPER.com. And we'd love to hear from you. You can also visit ourdipper.com and you can share your experiences. You can engage with each other. You can be a part of the community where we're trying to empower people who are in underrepresented groups and represent them. So please join us in that. And we're very thankful for each of you kind of joining us this afternoon too.
Absolutely. Head to ourdipper.com. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.